Heyo! What's up, boys? It's Gaz, and welcome to the Warframe video. So, we have a bit of a weird one today, and yeah, I'm just in a pretty casual mood right now, so don't take it too seriously. But yeah, we got the Riven Disposition buffs and nerfs, just, completely randomly on like a Friday or whatever the heck. I don't know, actually, I do know why they released these early, but it's a big disaster, and they're kind of like going back on stuff they did in the past, where they, all right, let's just get into it, all right? Check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Gaz_TTV. Make sure you sub to this YouTube channel. Let's get to 20,000 subs, please, sometime. I don't know. I mean, you don't gotta, but it would be cool if you did. All right, so we're going to go over the Riven disposition changes that will be, they're not, okay, so here's the thing. They're not currently in the game right now, but the patch notes, or rather the disposition numbers and stuff, are on the official Warframe forums. Because here, I'll explain the situation. They accidentally added the disposition changes to console and then hotfixed them out. And they're like, oh crap. Well, let's give them the patch notes. Let's just tell them what we're buffing and nerfing 2 weeks in advance. So, I mean, here's the thing as well. They did this on accident before in the past. Or rather, not on accident. They released the disposition numbers early in the past. And you know what they did? They locked Riven trading for the rest of that day. But you know what they're not doing right now? They're not locking Riven trading, even though the patch notes are out for what's going to get buffed and nerfed. And let me tell you, there's people trying to sell Cronin Rivens and Graham Rivens en masse. Not like that's anything new, though. That's been happening for a while. So, I've already taken advantage of this, which I can't believe they didn't, they should just not release these notes, in my opinion. I already bought a Karis Prime Riven, because they're going to be buffing this, and this was dirt cheap, so yeah, all right, we'll get into the numbers, but yeah, they basically went back on what they said, and dude, the Rivens are just not handled properly at all. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but dang, you guys are not doing a good job on this. All right, so if anyone actually cares about Riven still, we're gonna go over these Riven disposition changes right here. So we've got, they're explaining right here at the top. Yesterday we released the Knight of Nabarus update across all console platforms. Unfortunately, this update accidentally featured some Riven Dispo changes that were scheduled to be released with Nezha Prime Access. We sincerely apologize for the unexpected trick. These changes have since been removed from all consoles, but in interest of transparency, we wanted to share the exact changes that you can expect when this update returns to all platforms. All trends are explained in our Riven Dev Workshop still hold true. There are fewer gun reductions than ever, and the melees are still in a state of flux. Arc gun Rivens are all, I thought they were going to be changing Sentinel weapon dispos this time. It's actually Arc gun Rivens. So, yeah, Riven trading is not locked. But here's the numbers, guys. If you're a smart trader, you can take advantage of the buffs and nerfs and maybe get a good deal before anyone else realizes. Because that's what I've been doing. They're not locking trading. They released these patch notes. So, you know what? Why wouldn't we do that and be smart? All right, so we're going to go over every single Riven change in here, go over it slightly, and I'll let you know if I think it's a big deal or not. So Exceltra getting a 0.05 nerf, so they just nerfed it because they could. Archiplasmor got the tiniest little buff you've ever seen. They should have buffed the Archiplasmor a lot more. This will not make the Archiplasmor any better at all, and I'm sad that it's in such a bad state nowadays. Amprex getting an extremely small buff as well. I'm going to take a quick look at my God Roll Amprex Riven to see how that's looking now. I doubt it's much of a difference. I mean, actually, no. These changes aren't in game yet. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what a good Amprex would Let's try to make some predictions here. So I've got a crit chance, crit damage, minus infested Amprex Riven right here. So I mean, some additional crit chance is going to get me to 100 and probably 20% crit chance with point strike on the build. It's going to get me to 6.8 multiplier probably, and it might get me to 500 or 400 and 60 total damage, I guess. I don't think it's going to really make a big difference. But, I mean, I guess it's a buff, so you can't say it's a bad thing, right? The normal Corinth and the Catchmoon Primary. So the Catchmoon Primary is getting a pretty substantial Riven buff here, almost at neutral stats. So that is good for the Catchmoon Primary. It is most likely the worst primary kit gun that we currently have available until the infested kit guns come out. So yeah, that's a nice buff for that. Let's take a look at what the stats will be looking like if it will make any meaningful changes. So I'll take my Catchmoon Primary. This is going to be Tremor, Catchmoon, and Stitch, which is not a full crit focused one. I have a crit chance Riven. So let's take a quick look here. So we have Catchmoon Satachron, multi-shot critical chance, plus puncture. Those stats look pretty high already. I wonder if that's a display error. Okay, so we have 66.9% crit chance. It will probably get to like around 80-ish after this buff, with a 2-stat and negative Riven. I feel like those stats are wrong, honestly. I guess not. Okay. Still not as strong as Point Strike. We could put on Point Strike. So with Point Strike, I bet we'd be over 100, actually. Oh, wait, no. This is the shotgun. Never mind. You have Blunderbuss. Okay, so you would have over 100% crit chance after this buff if you put on Blunderbuss and a Catch Moon crit chance Riven. But Blunderbuss is a trash mod, so yeah. Yes, I hope you guys don't mind if I just go through a couple Rivens here and there while we're going over this list. I think it's more fun to do it that way. The normal Corinth is going to get a small buff as well. Nothing really too important there. Not the Corinth Prime, just the normal Corinth getting a Riven Dispo buff. The Gaze Primary, a relatively okay weapon already. They're going to be doing a Dispo buff on that one pretty substantially from 0.65 to 0.85. Should be pretty good. I actually don't have any more Gaze Rivens. I got rid of them. So, yeah, you might like that one. It might be pretty good, actually. It's a beam weapon with some AoE on it. Kuva Brahma getting a small nerf as well. I mean, why not just put the nail in the coffin and put it at 0.5, huh? Like, I think it will potentially not get nerfed anymore after this, but we'll have to see. It has definitely become less popular of a weapon after the ammo change. Kuva Dracoon getting a small buff. Shouldn't change it too much. Okay, so here's a big one right here, guys. This is going to be in the... This is definitely going to be in the thumbnail of the video. The Panthera Prime is going from 0.5 to 0.85. That is the biggest number buff in Riven history, guys. They usually will never buff something more than 0.25, but they're doing 0.35 for the Panthera Prime. I feel like they did that on accident. Just like them releasing the changes on console on accident, I think they did this on accident. This is bigger buff than they've ever done. And, you know, that's a good thing because I think the Panthera Prime is actually worse than the normal Panthera. So, we've got a crit chance Panthera Riven right here. Even with Point Strike, it's 62% crit chance. So, yeah, I'm probably going to roll this because it will be a lot higher stats. I don't know if it will get us to 100% crit chance, but that would be great. And I do think you do want a crit chance Riven on the Panthera Prime, just to make sure you get those crit slash procs, Hunter Munitions procs, if you're running Hunter Munitions, all that kind of stuff. So, that's a nice buff for that thing. It definitely needed it. And it might honestly just be a bug that they're not a bug, but a mistake, so don't tell them. Railgut's Primary, going to get a Dispo buff from 0.6 to 0.2, great stuff. And in fact, so here's the thing, the reason that the Railgut's Primary was not like the best top tier primary, like full auto assault rifle, is because the Kuva Karak is the best full auto primary assault rifle in my opinion. And this will push it closer to the Kuva Karak, but the Kuva Karak did not get nerfed in these Dispo passes. So I think the Kuva Karak will still be better, even with this Riven Dispo buff, because the Kuva Karak also has higher Rivens as well. Still great for the Railgut's Primary. The Shadu is going to be getting a Dispo nerf, very small nerf. I hope they don't touch it anymore after that. Thank you very much. Let me see. Like, my Shadu already got nerfed before, and I got really pissed off about it. But let's take a look at the Shadu. With a... Okay, so I used to have 100% crit chance with this thing. With this triple crit Riven and all that stuff. So we're going to probably be going down to like 90%. Actually, it might be like 89% critical chance. And potentially going below 1,000 or 2,000 damage on the shot. So that is unfortunate. They have to nerf that again. It's hard to get this thing. You have to do all that. What is that mission called? You have to do the Railjack. You got to go to the Veil Proxima and Shadow the Crystal and all that stuff. It's a late game mission. I don't think they should be nerfing that much, but, you know, whatever. Stulta getting another buff. That's great for the Stulta. Stulta still has a little bit of a usability issue, in my opinion, but that's great for the Stulta. Normal Tigress and the Sancti Tigress getting Riven Dispo buffs. Sancti Tigress is not getting a big Dispo buff, but hey, if you have a crit chance Sancti Tigress Riven, it's probably going to be better than Blunderbuss, so that's great. And the normal Tigress, no one's really using the normal Tigress, so... Yeah. Tomb Figure Primary also getting a Riven Dispo buff as well. A relatively decent one. So that's nice for the Tomb Finger. I'll take a quick look at it while I'm just like thinking about the Trumna for a second. Let's see what the primary Tomb Finger is going to be looking like after this Dispo change. So it already has a bunch of crit chance with the full crit build. I only have one Riven for this. Huh? Oh, let's see. I sold the other Rivens. Okay, so we've got multi-shot and critical chance. With Point Strike, it's 131. After this buff, a 2-stat with no negative Riven, you'll probably have about 150-ish, I'd say. So that would be good for orange crits. Might potentially think about building a new Tomb Finger Primary, but still, like, I'm still burnt by the fact they had to nerf the charge rate on the one that people were building. a lot of people, content creators were showing in their videos. Trumna getting the smallest little buff you could possibly see. I don't think it will change anything for the Trumna, but at least they're buffing it, right? All right, moving on to secondaries. You've got the Akbolto, Telos Akbolto, and Akbolto Prime. The whole Akbolto family getting a buff here. It's a 0.05 buff across the board. So nothing really to write home about at all on these. They're not substantial enough to really matter. Normal Ak Jaguar getting a Dispo buff. That doesn't matter because it's not the Ak Jaguar Prime. Normal Ak Stiletto also getting a buff for some reason. I don't think anyone uses the normal Ak Stiletto. The only nerf here is the Kuva Nukor getting a huge nerf down to... Guys, the Kuva Nukor Rivens cannot get any weaker than they currently will be after this change. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter because you know why? For the Kuva Nukor, as long as it's better than the Seeker mod, as long as it gives more stats than the Seeker mod, which is the punch-through mod for pistols, 2.1 punch-through, this Riven will probably go down to like 0.9 punch-through. I think that will still be enough. It will still be more useful than Seeker. And if it ever isn't, you don't even need a Riven for this thing, okay? For damage rolls, like people that are going like full DPS with their Nukor, that might be an unfortunate nerf. The stats will definitely be a lot lower after this Dispo nerf, guys. But yeah, the Nukor is still like, even with if the Rivens didn't even exist, it would still be one of the top secondaries in the game. So yeah, the Pyrana normal getting a buff. Who cares? The Sepulchrum is getting a big buff, a maximum value Riven buff on the Sepulchrum, which is that homing missile launcher pistol from Deimos that we made a video on like a couple weeks ago. So that's going to be really good. Let's take a look at the Sepulchrum, see what kind of stats we're going to be working with after that. I put the wrong letters in there. Here we go. So I have a Riven for the Sepulchrum right here. I think it's crit chance and multi-shot. Okay, so we've got crit chance, multi-shot, minus infested. So with the Prime crit chance mod and the crit chance Riven, it's going to be 115 currently, and the rocket launcher secondary will be 145. They're going to be buffing that a lot, so expect to see lots of orange crits with this thing if you have a crit chance Riven. And the secondary will probably go up to like 160-ish crit chance with this kind of build. So that's nice for the Sepulchrum. More damage as well from the multi-shot increase. So yeah, I think that would be a good one right there. Maybe pick up a Sepulchrum Riven if you don't have one already and you like the way the weapon feels. All right, moving on to Static Core. From 0.53 to 0.6. It was at 0.53. What a random number to be at. Still, the Static Core will stagger you a lot nowadays. I don't consider that really a huge, important buff. But I do have a Static Core Riven. It's like damage multi-shot fire rate. At least it will give me some more fire rate, right? The Velox, that useless, worthless pistol that Protea came out with, it's going to have neutral Rivens. I expect that to go up more in the future because it's just a generic, useless pistol. The Deimos, the Beekeeper gun. It's going to get a big buff. And I actually think that the Deimos might be... It will probably get buffed again, honestly, because it's not very usable. And it has like no crit or anything like that. But you can still make it a crit build. So let's take a look at the Deimos really quickly. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry. I want to have some fun looking at these Rivens. So let's just put on this multi-shot Riven. So multi-shot cold... whatever that stuff is, and minus infested. So, yeah, I think that this will get buffed again in the future, and the thing is, the stats are going to be buffing here aren't going to really make a big difference. It's just going to make it do more damage overall, because this thing has 5% crit chance, 2.3 multiplier. So, yeah, maybe if you had like a reload Riven, it would be more noticeable. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it to feel any different than before, just deal more damage. This thing can still already deal like 300,000 damage without a crit. On a headshot, so it will be doing even more damage, which is nice. All right, melee guys, here come the big nerfs. As you notice, like right here, there's pretty much not any really big nerfs. There's the Kuva Brahma, Shadu, and Kuva Nukor. There's a couple big nerfs in here, so we'll just go over these real quick, rapid fire style. Ak and Brunt got buffed, which is great. I mean, no one really uses it, but great. Archititron, like one of the most godly hammers in the game, got a small buff, so that's good for that. Expect even bigger numbers with your Rivens and your minus impact Rivens, making a slash focused weapon. Atarax getting a buff. Okay. Boltes and the Telos Boltes getting buffs. That's great to hear. They're small buffs, but at least it's something. The Telos Boltes is very good. We have a video on it on the channel. Broken Scepter getting a buff. Broken Scepter has some of the highest disposition of melee weapons. Oh, guys, also notice, they did not nerf any of the stat sticks here. So my prediction on them nerfing every stat stick Riven in the game was incorrect. So that's good. I wonder why they didn't touch it. Maybe it's because of money. But yeah, So if they ever do end up nerfing stat stick Rivens, keep an eye on the Broken Scepter having very high dispo. Also, the Ampus did not get nerfed. The Ampus didn't get nerfed. They didn't touch any of the stat sticks. Okay. Okay. Or good, I guess. Stat sticks reign supreme again. The Broken War getting a buff as well, so Broken War is very good, and the Rivens will be gooder. So there you go. Castle War, Cobra and Kane. Who cares about those? Dark Dagger, Rakta Dark Dagger getting some buffs. Rakta Dark Dagger getting a pretty big buff, so that's nice for the Rakta Dark Dagger. The Death Tot, which is going to be a Zaw strike, good for a Marked for Death Rapier build, is going to have a small buff as well. So use the Death Tot Rapier build for Marked for Death, and it'll be great. Even more damage. Dex Dock or whatever. Dragon Nakana getting another Dispo nerf, which is garbage. Small nerf nonetheless, but yeah, that's stupid. Dual Kamas and the Dual Kamas Prime getting some Dispo buffs. I believe that the Dual Kamas Prime still have lower Dispo than the Nami Skyla Prime now. Okay, the Nami Skyla Prime and the Dual Kamas Prime might have almost the same exact Dispo now. But the Dual Kamas Prime is just a worse version of the Nami Skyla Prime, so keep that in mind. Dual Carry is getting another nerf. I probably should have sold my Riven while I could have. And it will probably get nerfed again, honestly. Endura getting another buff. That's another high dispo weapon now. Potential keep a Riven for that for a future stat stick nerf pass. Falcor and the Fragor, just the Fragor normal. They're getting buffs. Not a really big deal. Galatine and Galatine Prime getting some buffs. A small buff for the Galatine Prime, so nothing too substantial. Galvacor getting a small buff. Graham Prime getting a big nerf and maximum value nerf right here of 1.05 down to 0.9. So it's below neutral now. Like I said, guys, take advantage of the market knowledge you're getting from this video to get rid of that Graham Riven, or maybe something else. Gunson getting a buff, who cares? Whatever, Gunson's okay. Hate getting a nerf, feels bad, I like the hate. Heliocore, Synoid Heliocore getting some buffs. Haruto getting a big buff. Guys, maybe pick up a Haruto Riven right now. That might be a pretty good one. The Jet Katag, which is the Explosion Hammer, getting another buff. Karist Prime, here's a big one. This is one I've taken advantage of right here. The Karist Prime, the thing that had really good, basically it had neutral disposition when it came out, and they nerfed it down to 0.5. It's getting a gigantic buff from 0.5 to 0.75. So they will be good. They will be worth slotting now. And I'd say take advantage of getting cheap ones while you can. I bought this one for 100 plat. It's not exactly a god roll, but it's probably worth more than 100 plat, right? Because I don't use the daggers for finishers. This thing is one of the best melees in the game. Get that Karist Prime Riven if you have not already. And rename it to Karst Prime like me and be a pirate. Okay, so yeah, good stuff there. That's probably one of my favorite changes in the whole Dispo Pass. Keratinos not getting a full buff. It's going from 0.5 to 0.7. Why not just make it 0.75? The Keratinos is worse than the Venka Prime. That's the new claws that came from Deimos. They're pretty good, but yeah, they could definitely use a bit higher Rivens. Karudo getting another buff. Hooray. I like the Karudo. The Kreska, I forgot that actually. Is that the Boomerang? I think that's the Boomerang. Okay. Cronin Prime getting a gigantic nerf as well. As you can see right here. Oh, wait. The Cronin Prime got nerfed more than the Graham Prime. Oh, okay. That's not a maximum value nerf then. This is a maximum value nerf. From 1.05 to 0.85. Whew. Get rid of that Cronin Riven while you can, dude. Just get rid of it. Yeah, that's a gigantic nerf right there. The biggest that they can do, basically. The Crunch, which is a Zaw part. There you go. Got buffed up a little bit. Sedulacera. Some people like that. Good for them. Legion getting a small buff. Nothing too substantial there. Secure Electa and Normal Electa getting some buffs. Magistar and Sancti Magistar getting some buffs. Master, which is Grendel's Greatsword, getting a small buff. Nikana Prime is getting a Dispo buff for some reason when the Dragon Nikana got a Dispo nerf. Now, it's not a big buff. The Nikana Prime does not need a Riven at all. So, maybe I'll grab one of those after this video is over just to potentially see if it will be worth it. I highly doubt it, though. It needs to replace one of the melee mods you'd already be running. 0.6 is pretty nice to see that for the Nikana Prime. Prisma Obex, Ultha, Orthos, not the Orthos Prime, and the Orvius, all getting some small buffs. Paracesis getting nerfed again. Paracesis almost has the complete garbage, useless trash Rivens. So that's unfortunate they had to go down that route, but that's their decision, I guess. Pathesis, the Infested Glaive that comes from the The Zealot, it's going to get a small buff. Plague Crybath getting nerfed again. I mean, just in time for the Plague Star parts to come back. Great, thanks for that. Really appreciate that one. I feel like an idiot for keeping around my my Plague Crybath Riven. Pup Assist is getting a small buff. The Quasis is getting a huge buff. Oh my god, the Quasis is getting a huge buff. Hopefully you have a Quasis Riven already. Because if anyone is aware of how big this is getting buffed, they will increase those prices. Because the Quasis is really strong now. They bug fixed it like 3 times. So keep an eye on that one, guys. Get one if you don't already, and if it's not too much plat. The Rav V, Hammerzaw getting a small buff. Reaper Prime getting a huge nerf. Normal Redeemer and the Redeemer Prime both getting big nerfs as well. So these 3 right here are some of the really strong melees in this game. And let's actually even throw in the Sepfon Nikana Zaw as well, getting a nerf as well. A small nerf for the Sepfon, but yeah, Reaper Prime gigantic Riven nerf. Hopefully you got rid of that. It's below neutral now. Redeemer and the Redeemer Prime getting big nerfs as well. That's too bad. Normal Syndo getting buffed. Why did they not buff the Syndo Prime's Riven? The Syndo Prime is still like outdated. Whatever. Sepfon getting a nerf. Why? It's too small of a nerf for us to even It's just like kicking the Sepfon when it's down pretty much. Twin Croakier getting a small nerf. You're mean. War getting not enough of a buff. It's still below. Why does the War have 0.95? The War should be like Wolf Sledge numbers, like 1.25 or higher. Okay, normal Venka getting a buff, not the Venka Prime. Wolf Sledge getting another buff. Zorus getting a buff as well, but it's still the Zorus, so don't use it. Zenistar getting a buff, lol. Don't use that either. And then the final Rivens here. We got the Arc Gun. So the Corrige, the Flamethrower from Deimos that locks you in place and use the Alt Fire, getting a big Riven buff, so that's good. Everything here is the buff. It's basically what are they not buffing. They're not buffing the Imperator Vandal. They're not buffing the Mausolon. They're not buffing things that probably don't matter. So there you go. Those are the Riven Dispo changes. That is a 22-minute video right there. And I hope you found it helpful, guys. Like I said, I would say take advantage of getting some cheaper Rivens while you can. Because, there's some of them that should probably are going to be more plat, honestly. A Karst Riven could potentially be more plat. This guy saw a Jet Katag Riven for 50 plat. It's probably going to be worth more than... No, actually, that one sucks. Okay, well, you know what I mean. Don't buy a Corona Riven for 1,000 plat. Don't buy a Reaper Prime Riven for 1,000 plat. Just be smart. See what's getting nerfed here. I'm going to link the Dispo changes in the description down below. And there you go. Overall, my thoughts on it are... they should have buffed some of the crappier weapons more. They shouldn't have nerfed... They shouldn't have nerfed the Sepfon Zaw. They shouldn't have nerfed the Shedu. They shouldn't have nerfed the Dragon Nikana again, or the... I guess they could have nerfed the Hate. It's strong, I guess. Paracesis, why? It's not even that great. I mean, it is good, but why did you have to nerf the Rivens like that? Play Cripath, whatever, at this point, just kicking it while it's down. And, yeah, some of the buffs were good, at least. Don't be fooled by those 0.05 buffs, guys. They're not going to even make a big difference on the card. But either way, I'll see you later on Twitch tonight. Trying to make sure I can stream as much as possible. I'm so busy nowadays, so a lot of it is just going to be a YouTube video for the day, unfortunately. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.